Pisces, hi, welcome. It's Erin Scott here with the Alchemy of Holism. So I'm setting up here to do an art channeling for you, and we're going to tap into this evolutionary cycle, natural cycle for your month ahead. This sun, I will tell you that I had to adjust my camera here because of how the sun's coming in. Actually, maybe it's starting to drop a little bit more. I wanted to pull this up a little bit. Maybe that's all right. Okay, great. It was glaring into the camera and whiting everything out. So hopefully this is okay. So yes, this is for the Taurus Sun conjunction coming up. This Taurus new moon that's coming up on the 15th of May is powerful because it's coinciding with the Uranus ingress into Taurus, which is going to be a very powerful, big chapter, 7-year chapter of whole change, radical revolution when it comes to everything physical and everything material. The earth, our bodies, how we perceive reality, how we perceive material reality. And our food systems is going to be upended. New awarenesses are going to come forward for the masses to wake up to. Huge, massive stuff going on, right? And it's happening in conjunction with this new moon cycle. Thus, I'm going to tap in. I have my gouache paints here, and I also have some charcoal pencils. So I'm tapping in both for the month ahead, for mid-May to mid-June, but also for the next 7-year cycle, because we're tapping into really a theme that's part of a bigger macrocosmic cycle of growth for you. All right? So Pisces, let me go ahead. First, we're going to identify you up here. And let me just go ahead and tap in, okay? So those of you that have watched me before, you just know that, we just follow the flow. And we see what forms, symbols, patterns, colors want to come forward. So Pisces, for those of you, I'm recording this on Mother's Day, Sunday, the 13th of May. And for those of you who are mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. We are moving into a cycle of earth, of Gaia, of mother, of manifesting, of matter, matter meaning mother, right? It's the Latin root of matter means mother. And indeed, mother is the root of all mattering, physical matter, birthing forward new physical life. So Pisces, give me a minute here, okay? I'm also going to pull from my Siri card deck at the end. We're going to pull the main growth edge for you for this cycle, both for the month and for the 7-year portal. with hair in there. One thing that I will say is that my cat is sitting, he's over here next to me. He's sitting right next to the easel here, which he hasn't done for any of the other readings. Pisces, and he's also wheezing right now, which he has not done. He doesn't do that. So we'll talk about that. He's sitting here and he's wheezing, and that has something to do with your reading. He doesn't wheeze. So Pisces, let's talk about this. It's very interesting. I mean, obviously you're getting like bold shapes. We have the pyramid here in red. We have the sphere in blue. And we have what essentially looks like a volcanic eruption, which is interesting, is it not, with Kilauea? Because right now, where I'm filming this, Kilauea has been having its lava flow. It's been erupting, but there's talk, there's speculation that there might be something more major happening there. So I want to talk about that. But this kind of, let's say, eruption from the top of this, almost like a volcano, but this is a pyramid very distinctly, and it's red, you know. It's red, so there's a lot of energy here. And what I get from the pyramid shape, the pyramid form, is that it's a funnel system. I mean, the pyramids is a funnel. It's like a vortex portal for energy. It helps consolidate energy flow. And it's a very, you know, we're talking ancient Egypt, the archetypal energies of the pyramids. So I want to say for you, over the course of this month ahead, mid-May to mid-June, that there could be some mystical energy bringing forward ideas, inspirations. I don't necessarily see this as distinct outreach or distinct physical action. I see this as more thoughts, that there's energy in here flowing in you, okay, and coming out, you know, but it's coming out via thought. It could be via music. Now, for some of you who are musicians, it could be that there's energy. This red energy is like vital life force. It's also rage, anger, and passion. So it could be that there's a lot that is catalyzing energy for you, energy flow for you, that is mystical in its orientation. Why? Because we're looking at a pyramid form here. So there's a mystical way by which you're functioning, but in the 3D world of this earth school, you know, it's like anger is activated in the field. You know, there's a lot going on. People are starting to break. People are starting to crack. There's a lot that is reaching a maximum pitch, or at least it will over the next several years. Keep in mind, Chiron has moved into Aries. Mars ruled Aries. Healing of the aggressive adolescent, immature, imbalanced, toxic masculine is at hand, simultaneous with Uranus in Taurus. So this is about radical material change alongside the healing of the imbalanced, toxic masculine, aggressive energy. And that's no small deal, because it's going to hit people that aren't willing to see themselves with anger and rage. Now, for this, the world is going to be activated in more an aggressive state in the next several years, okay? And it could be that this is forming within you a vortex of inspiration, that the dissonance on the planetary sphere in the collective human psyche is activating within you, in your vehicle of your body and in your mystical orientation of your mind and how you use your mind. The aggression of the world stage is creating an eruption within you of new inspiration, new ideas. Now, for some of you, I said music earlier. For some of you, there could be some sound frequency, vibration work, sound healing work that is coming out. But what I get is that this isn't necessarily a physical manifestation of projects happening. This is more vibratory. So it's either projects having to do with vibration and sound and frequency, which, by the way, you know, it's understood that actually it was sound that moved these massive structures, these massive bricks, so to speak, the stones for the pyramids. So sound moved them. It's sound energy that carries heavy weight, right? There's something here with sound for you. That's definitely what I'm getting now. Now, the interesting thing is there's this sphere down here, right? Now, this is like not quite clear glass. And it's not quite like sapphire, but it is like a blue sphere that is mostly clear. That's what I got when I was drawing this. So there's a sphere, a lens that is blue in its hue, in its orientation. And it's interesting because I will tell you that Scorpio also got a big blue eye. And it was about the same size, by the way, as this. And what I want to say is, for those of you Pisces watching, if you have other significant aspects of Scorpio in your natal chart, this is also talking to you. So these are linked, okay? Now, this represents a new sphere, a new perspective, a new lens, And it is underneath the dynamic, raging, perhaps, vehicle. Whether it's your vehicle or whether it's kind of the context of our planetary stage, which is activated, it's heating up. The world stage is heating up. I feel, Pisces, that for you over the course of this month, that there is a new spiritual communication as well, blue, underpinning a new perspective that's spiritual in its orientation, that is underpinning this context of aggression or rage that's activated, that is stirring up this vortex of energy within you and your thoughts, your mind, how you're operating, to new levels of thought and inspiration with regards to frequency, sound, healing energy, the immaterial realm. There's new juice flowing, and it's inspired by the aggressiveness on the planet. It's inspired by the aggressiveness of the people in your field, and it's even inspired by the aggressiveness within yourself. Rage at your own wounds, anger at life, anger at God, anger at your soul, you know, for putting you through some of the trauma that you've had to go through in this life. There's anger there. A lot of people carry that. And this is boosting you. You're starting to hone it. You're using it. You're understanding, perhaps, that the function of the wounds indeed is functional, that wounds are not random and you're not cursed because you had a hard life or traumatic experiences. It was encoded, your higher encoded it within you because you're carrying that seed narrative for expansion, for growth. And here there could be some revelations in how you use your mind and your energy to use it in a new way for healing. A lot of chills right now with that, okay? A lot of you are going to resonate with this. Now, up here we had yellow, like pinkish red. We have kind of a brown tan color, and we have blue. And what I get from that is that out of this vortex of thought, of energy, is spiritual communications, grounded and rooted communications. For me, the brown is representing grounding, soil, earth. So there's something practical here. So there's something spiritual perhaps in its orientation, something practical here, and something inspired here. Now these yellow dots, I don't know what that means. There's 5 of them. 5 represents change. Certainly the gold is this kind of how you emanate yourself, or what is emanating. So there could be change in change, meaning 5, right? There could be change in how you are emanating your 3rd chakra, solar, emanating, willful, ego, energy, your persona. There could be a change in how you're coming off. And this is not a negative thing. This is just you're shifting, and it has to do with your, there's a basis of spiritual information that is now driving a new vortex of flow. And you're changing. You're changing. Perhaps there's more of an alignment, as within, so without. Perhaps you are aligning more, or maybe perhaps you're coming off a little bit more strong, less wishy-washy, more defined. The change is dependent on you and your particular soul print, which, by the way, for those of you that want to learn about my work, you can connect with me at thealchemyofholism.com, okay? And for those of you that want weekly live streams to connect with me and my patrons on a weekly basis with potions, where we talk about the astrology, the symbology, and give you guidance for the week ahead, be in touch. You can see the link below for Patreon, okay? Now, what I also want to point out here, Pisces, is this green line. So, and I want to look at the yellow here too. So the green came down, right? It's kind of outlining this side of the page. It's coming here, it broke, and then it's coming over here. To me, it's like this is a horizon line, a foundation of green. Green is representing growth, new nurturance. So for me, I see this foundation, ground, perspective that is more nurturing. Do you see that? So a nurturing perspective, all right? Now with this S in Pisces that wanted to become yellow and underlined, to me that's interesting because, again, we're talking about your persona. And here we have the persona perhaps changing over the course of this month ahead. The S is this S shape, yeah, like this, like a serpent. It's a serpentine energy. For me, what that represents is going with the flow. So there could be a new ability manifesting for a lot of you out there about going with the flow of changes that are activated on the world stage. And you are going to use that energy in order to emit your healing juice. What is your soul print? What is your mastery trajectory? Do you know that? You need to understand what your natural encoded orientation is and its mastery trajectory, Pisces. We're all distinct, and we all have a distinct trajectory. And the alignment to that soul print and the activation and allowance of that story to fully flow is the name of the game. So be in touch if you want to know more. Let me pull. This is my Siri deck. It's my 144 card deck. It's the deck that I used to use all the time for my readings. And I haven't used it in a while on the public channel, but I'm happy to bring forward a growth edge. What is a prime growth edge for you over the course of this month and the next 7-year macrocosmic cycle. Okay. Okay, Pisces. So, Pisces. Well, you're getting the Path card. So let me think about this. I might pull another card because obviously we're all kind of connecting with our path. But I will say for you, especially what I was just talking about, kind of connecting in with your mastery trajectory, because I've not gone into that with all the signs here on these readings that I've been doing for the month. So it could be that indeed a lot of you are really wanting to reorient yourself toward your mastery trajectory, toward what is natural for you. Let me see if, can you see that? So that's the Path card. This is your natural evolutionary path forward. You're aligned, free, coordinated, aligned, honed path forward. So Pisces, this month for you is about an alignment. It's an about alignment that is frequency based. And it is connecting you more and more on your natural path, of trajectory, of mastery. And it will take, by the way, you are a mutable sign. You're mutable, meaning the quality of the Piscean archetype has a mutable quality to it. This S with the yellow, for me, is talking about there's a mutability and adaptability and what ultimately will become a resilience with your identity. And again, this 5 dots of what is being expressed out into the world, there is a change with how you're expressing. There is a change with your persona. And there is a flow and adaptability, a mutability that's actually being activated. And that is to your benefit because resilience, humans becoming resilient is the way it has to be. Humans have to learn to be resilient just like nature is. And most humans are not resilient yet. We might be, but we're not there yet. People are much too rigidly identified with silly ego story. Not that the ego's silly. The ego has function. The ego is beautiful, but it's been blown out of imbalanced proportion. It's about mastery of the ego and actually identifying really what its soul function is and putting it into context, natural context, not the toxic, imbalanced context that modern human has done with it. So don't listen, by the way, a side note before I say goodbye, don't listen to anybody out there who vilifies the ego. The ego is not to be vilified. It is natural. It is part of the human condition, and it serves a function, a necessary function to identify us in this 3D narrative of time-space reality as we navigate a growth, an archetype, an arc of growth, and an evolutionary trajectory. So it is not to be vilified. Don't listen to anybody that ever vilifies the ego. It's insane. That's insane. Okay. All right, Pisces. So the links are below. Oh, by the way, so I've been doing what's called a May Mastery Month. So I started with a fast. I've been doing largely living foods, although not totally, all vegan throughout the month of May. And I'm doing a lot of wild food foraging and eating, and I'm sharing all of that on a daily basis on my Instagram account. So for those of you interested in that, come follow me on Instagram. It's fun. There's a lot of, photos and little video clips that I'm posting of what I'm making and what I'm foraging and little things like that. Okay. Much love to all of you. I'll talk to you soon. I'm wishing lots of good vibes, good energies, good clarity for this month ahead. It's going to be a big month. It's going to be a big 7 years. Talk to you soon.